Hi, this is Jessica with Dining Traveler, and welcome to the Dining Traveler cooking series, where we try recipes from our favorite destinations at home. Well, I'm not at home. I'm actually getting a pretty cool cooking lesson in Richmond, Virginia. I'm at Perch with the chef owner, Mike Ledesma, and tell me what you're going to teach me to make today.
Today we're going to make lumpia. It's a traditional Filipino spring roll, and every family has their own recipe. I'm going to show you ours.
I'm so excited. Let's get started.
We're going to get started here making my family's lumpia. This is very traditional, very simple. We're using mirepoix, which is onions, carrots, and celery. And then a little hack that we use in the kitchen here, we get a mandolin.
I am obsessed with a mandolin. I just bought one at the start of the pandemic.
You know, once you get to the end, you save this stuff and make stock out of that. So we make a veg stock.
So no waste, no food waste.
No food waste. And then you just kind of take your knife and just go all the way down. And once you get to that point, you turn it, and there you get a little dice. So it only takes 2 carrots. What we're working with here is about 3 pounds of ground pork, and that'll yield about 100 lumpia. Okay. When we prep the lumpia, we prep it bulk prep, and that way it's a consistent product all the way through.
I'm a home cook. I love cooking at home. But there's a difference with building that consistency of 1,000 lumpia every week.
Absolutely.
And getting them to be the same flavor.
Oh yeah. And you know, and it's funny because home cooking, you know, what I was taught, there was no measuring. It was like the color, the soy sauce, the salt and pepper. The soy sauce is in the Philippines is sitting out all day, so you have you know, kind of like evaporation happening, so it's a little bit saltier. Okay. And then it's never as good as mom makes. So,
no, of course not.
So when we have people at Perch, they're just like, it's not as good as my mom's. I'm like, I know it's not as good as your mom's.
And I also think, especially when it comes, because I get it also Puerto Rican food, people are like, well, my mom's house, we don't do it that way. And I feel everybody has a unique way to do it. Oh yeah. But also you have the other factors, like you were saying, the Philippines, like the heat and it being outside. And I think
the quality of the meat.
The quality of the meat. Yeah. So, but water and air are such a factor that a lot of people don't think about, but they do make a big difference in the food. It
does make a big difference. You know, in Asian cookery, it is all about the balance of flavors. When I was in culinary school, the chef would always say, it is a balance. It's like yin and yang. So we're just kind of like, how do you feel that the onion is? Like how strong and pungent it is how much you put into your recipe. So these are not very strong because we're not crying.
And so how many onions do you use?
About 2.
2, okay.
And as a minority, it's like you have to get people familiar with the food with baby steps. Because, you know, just think about the family that's never eaten any kind of ethnic food. And they're like, all right, so you gotta try it.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. I use 3 celery stalks. Okay. They're big ones. So that's onions, carrots, celery, and then we throw a little bit of scallions in there to give it some color.
What are things that you've learned here? You're at a commercial kitchen, professional kitchen, that a home cook can apply at home to make their processes a bit faster.
Yeah, I mean I love doing cooking classes so that they can see that there's no smoke and mirrors. We're taking the same ingredients you have at home, and we're just making it. You know,
there's no fairy dust.
There's no fairy dust. It's all like preparation. So it's 1 egg per pound. So there's 3 pounds in there. Okay.
Do you know the origins of lumpia? Like, do you know?
Yep, it came from China. It's a derivative of the Chinese egg roll. Okay. When colonization happened to the Philippines, it was one of the foods that was brought over. And then we add a little bit of shoyu, soy sauce, tamari, your choice. It's about 1/2 cup. Okay. So this is the basic lumpia recipe. Variations include using beef versus pork, and also using shrimp to give it that seafood umami, adding mushrooms and cabbage as well. And now we're gonna roll some lumpia. So these are out of the freezer for about an hour. You want to temper them so they come off way easier.
When did you make your first lumpia?
I made my first lumpia when I was 6 years old. My parents were like, come here, you're gonna learn how to do this. And I was like, okay. We roll our lumpia now, and we're going to put a little bit of egg wash right on the edge, about 1.5 inches, so nice and saturated. And then we're gonna add about 1.5 ounces. And the reason why you would add just 1.5 ounces is because when you're cooking it at 350 degrees, this is the perfect amount of meat to cook without burning the wrapper. To roll it, you would put the meat and spread it out for about 1.5 inches as well. And then you're gonna tuck this edge into that side of the pork. for ground meat. And then just keep on going, trying to keep the meat even so that when it is cooking, you don't see raw and cooked, it's all cooked at the same time. If you want a fancier looking lumpia, you would make a triangle and then just egg wash the tip here. And then do the same thing. And turn your edges. It's like a burrito, but there's your fancy lumpia.
Because most lumpias, yeah, the edges are cut off, yeah.
Because we like the crispies. The Filipinos like the crispies.
Okay.
So if you're at home, this is 350 degrees for 7 minutes.
They smell delicious, so thank you so much, Chef, for having us over, and make sure that when you're in Richmond, you check out Perch. With my lumpias, I have a little cocktail ready to indulge. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions or feedback, please leave it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and now I'm gonna eat. Adios.